Just a second.
Document to communicate.
Let me just give one mic to Roy and one mic to myself because I want to ask him a question. So, Roy,
Yes.
when do our users have good communication with our developers?
I don't think UTest is doing just the user kind of testing.
I think they do. I think that's what.
Okay,
this
so if
sort of
that's what they're
testing-
doing, then I think that they're basically lying to their customers, because what they're saying to the customers is, we're going to take over all your testing, not just user beta
what
testing.
does all your testing contain?
Uh,
in your opinion?
Acceptance testing, system testing, all the scenarios, everything.
Okay, acceptance and system testing, I can see external contractors taking over.
But they have to understand, they have to talk with you to understand. And the whole idea of
Why?
UTest
Why?
is that you
Do
don't
your
converse
do your
whatsoever.
customers talk with your developers to understand what they meant when they developed?
You're saying that it's okay to give your customers an application before its scenarios have been tested inside the company?
Well, but it's not the same. Those are testers. It's like the customer put in a support claim.
But they don't know what scenarios to test because they're outside of your company.
Well,
There
they
is no
get-
communication.
I guess they get some description.
Yeah,
of
sure,
the
maybe a
system.
Word document, because that's always great.
What I would guess is that they would get a system goals document and a design document, and they would construct a software test plan from it. And you, as the customer of UTest, should be able to manage them and tell them whether or not their test plan is valid.
Have you seen their business model? Their business model is not that they have hundreds of programmers ready just for testing your application. What they do is they publish your project, and then you can, just as someone who has no idea about testing, you can sign up as a tester and say, I'm willing to take an application from you and test it.
How many times did you think you tested extensively in-house, worked your ass off, burning long nights, and then released a program only to fail at the first human user?
I'm not
you
saying
encountered?
that it's not important. I'm saying that just doing that is a big fat lie. I'm saying that if you do that on top of everything that is inside your organization, then you might be doing something correctly.
They are in business. Let's take it into account. So they are making money. It works for some companies. I'm not sure it works well. I agree that in order to make a good product, both the spec, the developers, and the tester team need to know what they're talking about and what's going to come out at the end.
Don't look at them. Look at us.
I'm looking at the
But
camera.
they're more
trying to
interesting.
know what's happening behind the camera. But
Can I
really
make
hard.
a point about it? Isn't that like just open source, like a bunch of developers that don't know your application, just write code inside your application
but
without knowing anything? Well,
And
it's
you have gatekeepers.
it's easier than open source
Open-
because I don't need to read the application. I just need to press a few buttons.
open source is you have gatekeepers. The gatekeepers are responsible people who first make sure that you, as the first signer up to the program, you don't enter code without tests or something that it's not reviewed even. So they keep some kind of quality by the people who manage the process. I think that having an entire team of testers abroad who sign up and you don't even have control or communication apart from a written spec, which we all know what the quality of written specs are. It's really not a good thing. But
think
again, I want.
I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing for QA groups everywhere.
I think it's
because
it's a good idea for UTest.
No, just a moment. Do you mind to listen through my point? My point is that QA groups everywhere should be afraid because their job, manual testing, if they consider it that job, is cheaper to do elsewhere, and you can accomplish the same without paying so much money. And if you, I would like to complete my point. Okay, and if your job is at risk by offshoring, you should get better, and you should get into unit testing, and you should get into test automation, and you should start working your ass off to get better than the offshore solution. You should keep your competitive advantage. Okay, does anyone have another topic to talk about?
Yes, let's talk about tool of the week.
Yeah, well, my tool of the week, that sounded forced. Okay, my tool of the week is Smart Inspect by Grok Software, and I'd like to shout out Dennis here. And this is a logging tool we've been looking at for the last week or so, and it's really cool. You can see your logs in real time. You can log into any output, be it a pipe or a file or a TCP connection, and it's really easy. It's a really simple problem that every project encounters, and almost everyone does their own framework, and you don't need to.
And they have a fully end-to-end solution up to the client that reads the log.
Yeah, and you can send the logging console to your client, and you can see the logs and send you the logs back. And I was impressed. Go, Dennis.
Yeah, one of the coolest things about the tool is that yes, I was, because it doesn't just create a log file. It allows you to see in real time using either GCP or named pipes to see the actual logs running while the application is running in the console. So that's pretty cool.
You can do that using Log4net and Chainsaw.
Sure, you can do that using
but
assembly as well.
It's so simple. You don't need to do like 500 mile XML to configure it.
There you go, XML again.
Yeah, everybody loves it.
Yeah, to top it off, we actually caught a live bug in our development. A real live bug in our development an hour ago using logging with this, and usually we wouldn't bother to log, we'd just go in with a breakpoint, and it just made our work easier because the logging is so simple. It was already there, made it very simple to catch the bug. And let's wrap it up, shall we? Gil.
Yeah, just if you want to somehow comment about what we did here today, there's webcast at typemock.com. Bruce, you can also send us something. Hopefully, well, never mind. I was Gil Zilberfeld. Who are you? Who were you?
And I am Dror Helper.
I used to be Doron Peretz.
I am the one who used to be named Roy Osherov.
Please rate us on iTunes. Your opinion counts to us. And that's it. That's a wrap.